Bắt đầu.
Thế khi họ yêu cầu tháo khẩu trang ông phải khó chịu đúng không? Thế bây giờ thầy tháo khẩu trang ông mất thì tháo khẩu trang ra.
Good afternoon, everyone. And today I will discuss more with you about a really interesting term called cancer. Okay.
Em tính này.
Okay.
Ra xem. Ra nằm ra.
Yeah.
The problem.
Bay vào cái bấm. Có động nào không?
So my slide will contain these terms. First of all, I will introduce about our body and cancer cells. Next, I will talk more about what is cancer cells, the definition of it. Next, I will talk about the mitosis process of it, the cell division, and the how does the cancer cells has been made. And next, I will talk about the angiogenesis and metastasis, the apoptosis process, and why can drugs cure cancer cells, and the methods to cure cancer nowadays. And there I will prepare some quiz for you guys, and there's the prize, and the end. Okay, so our body, also known as the organisms contains an organ system, and inside organ system is organ, and inside organ is tissue, and tissue also contains cells, and cells again contains organelles. And the most important organelles of them all is the nucleus, which transport information and signals to our other organelles. For example, the lung cells help the lung to take the oxygen from the air and remove the unwanted substances like CO2. However, cancer cells is an exception. It operates and works like a cell. However, it operates without the chemical signal from the brain. So what exactly is the cancer cells? Well, cancer can be defined as a result of a long process when cells being damaged and it's able to break free from normal controls. Next, I will talk about the mitosis process. Mitosis process is the process by which a cell replicates chromosomes, then separates them, producing two identical nuclei preparation for cell division. In normal cells, they complete the mitosis process with the signals when the brain transfer the signals to the nucleus, and then the cells receive that signal and then run the mitosis process. However, cancer cells, as I have said before, it doesn't receive any signals from anything, mostly from the brain, so it just replicates rapidly and freely and form a bigger thing called tumor. Cancer cells has been made through the alteration in gene. The cells have been altered in gene, and that process is called mutation. The cells can be changed by touching some hazardous substances, radiation, or it just happened. Inside nucleus, as everyone knows, it contains chromosomes, which is a set of DNA. And with cancer cells, the DNA got changed. So the chromosomes got changed, which leads to the change of the nucleus, and then it changed the behavior of those affected cells, which they don't receive any other chemical signals from other stuff. In cell's DNA, it contains two copies of each gene. not included these kind of genes that I will talk about it later. Inside this cell DNA, it have a kind of gene called proto-oncogenes, which is a kind of gene which helps cells divide with the signal. However, the cancer cells DNA has been changed to a other sort of cells called oncogenes, which is a changed version of proto-oncogenes. A changed version of proto-oncogenes. It's also helps cells divide, but without a chemical signal. This is the proto-oncogene inside normal cells. Normal cells contain two proto-oncogenes and it still divide properly. I mean, divide properly here is to divide with the signal. And somehow, one of this proto-oncogene got changed to oncogene. However, it still divide properly since this proto-oncogene is helping and supporting the oncogene to work and divide properly. But however, when both of them got changed to the oncogene, it started to divide freely, which is the DNA inside the cancer cells. Next, I'll talk about a really important process with the cancer cells. It's called angiogenesis. Angiogenesis process is a process by which tumors cause the body to provide them with nutrients. Here's how it works. First of all, the tumor here, which is the bigger version of cancer cell, will send a signal like feed me to the nearby blood vessels, and they will start to send some extensions over here, you see, to the tumor and deliver oxygen and nutrients to them. Next, which is a really dangerous process of cancer cells, is metastasis. Metastasis is the movement of cancer cells in our body, and the really sad fact, 9% of deaths were caused by metastasis. Here's the metastasis process begins with the cancer cells when the cancer cells break off from the primary tumor to get into the blood vessels. When they enter the bloodstream, some cannot enter the draconic environment inside them, so they instantly die. Some will die because of they colliding with the blood vessel, and they cannot endure it, so they die. And some of them also got recognized and attacked by the immune system, and they also die. And once they stop moving, they will begin to form a new tumor at a new place. Apoptosis is the process when cells commit suicide after they got damaged and is incapable of repairing themselves. However, cancer cells have lost this ability, and they will continue to divide their affected version. Inside tumor, there are various types of cancer cells. Like here, there's cell B, cell C, cell D, like etc. And each of them have different sensitivity. And the reason why drugs cannot kill them, because drugs is capable of killing most of them. However, those remaining will continue, which can endure drugs, and will continue to divide and replicate itself and form a new tumor. But now this tumor will be able to immune from this drugs. Nowadays there are various types of ways to cure cancer, but the most effective of them all is the proton therapy from Singapore. Here I will show you.
Không có gửi về đâu, phải có mạng rồi.
Không có mạng. start the quiz. It's quiz time. The rules is there will be 5 questions. The reward for every correct answer is 5 BND. If the person who got it wrong, the other person will receive the turn.
What?
Oh no! Oh. So the first question is, what is the cancer? Can anyone tell me? May you? Let me.
Okay. Cancer is the burning outage, cell in the body.
Actually, that's wrong. Can anybody answer it?
Cancer, I think is from a mutation in DNA and led to uncontrollable cell division, which form lung tumor and then lead to drastic consequences in health.
Almost correct. Can anybody fully answer it? Maybe. Châu Anh, maybe. Alright. So, cancer cells can be defined as the cancer is the result of a long process that begins when one of the cells in an organ tissue become damaged in a way that causes it to break free from normal controls.
5,000 hours to be given for symptom.
Yes.
Yes, of course.
Mostly common.
Okay.
Đồng ý đó. You can read the question. Đọc câu hỏi đi tìm câu.
Thôi câu 3 đi. Câu 2 đi. Cái câu 2 điểm rồi luôn.
Đỡ mà 5.000.
Trả lời luôn.
Không.
Đỡ mà 5.000.
Có lỗi gì đấy?
Chạy mỗi hiệu ứng trên số này sẽ chạy mỗi hiệu ứng trên số quyết định.
Mất bao nhiêu tiền? Ở đâu mà làm gì nữa mất tiền chứ?
Tôi chỉ nặng chắc cho anh.
Mất 5.000 vào tay tao đấy à? Tao này cố ý nó để mấy câu hỏi xong. Ai, khốn đấy.
Next question is, what is the difference between normal and cancer cells mitosis process? No. Khoa, I guess. Just tell me what you remember. Stand up. Stand up. No, I mean, I guess. Since the cancer cells are broken from normal controls, cancer cells will divide freely, rapidly, and form a nucleus
So
called
is it correct answer? 5. No?
Yes.
Yes.
Can anyone tell me what's angiogenesis and where's cancer cells source of food? That. New rules, if 3 persons cannot answer, then we will skip the question. Do that, okay, thank you. That's why I guess. Let me. The answer is angiogenesis, the process by which tumors cause the body to provide them with nutrients, and the source is nearby blood vessels extensions. The question number 4 is, what is metastasis and what are the dangerous cancer cells you would have to face during the trip? Michigan, I guess.
Okay. I think this is the movement of tumor of the cancer cell is the blood vessel, right? And the dancer of cancer cell is this frame is maybe the collagen. It can be died because the collagen between the blood vessel. So 5,000 answer.
Metastasis is the spread of cancer cells from the place where the first formed to another part of the body. Those stages are colliding, being attacked from the immune system and the draconic environment inside bloodstream. And the final question, why can't drugs cure cancer? Okay.
kìa
Nó làm bài này mà.
Châu Anh.
Láo thế nhỉ? Sợ mất tiền, chơi phải chịu.
Thì có chơi có
Kiệt,
chịu.
Kiệt, no, the other Kiệt.
Because drug just kill not all the cancer cell, just a amount. So the other cancer cells are killed, unkilled. So you
Không bắt à?
what did he just say?
Không bắt à?
You
Wrong.
Đúng rồi.
I can give him the remaining part and we will share the money. No, I I can answer the rest and we can share money. Yes, we can share. We can share. So the remaining cancer cells can build up the immune system and not being damaged from drugs anymore. Is that correct?
Chưa nói thì lúc này tao nói.
No, I don't know.
Mr. Nhật, yes.
No, I will not answer. Okay.
Yeah, okay, then we will skip. Due to the fact that tumors consist of various types of cancer cells, which with different sensitivity, most of those cells will be killed by drugs, and the remaining one will continue to divide and form an invisible tumor due to the mutation. Thanks for
Okay.
watching.
Thôi chia đôi với mình nhá. À, tao 1.000 thôi, chia 4.000 nhá.